I did not do this last year where I took content days because I didn't know who I was. Let's be honest and let's be real with each other. I didn't know who I was. I didn't know that I added value to people, let alone did I want to admit it, let alone did I want to show you or people in general that I had that level of confidence. So we are currently filming content for my HPC Instagram page. And I did not do this last year. I'm just gonna be honest, okay? Can your girl be real or can she be real? I did not do this last year where I took content days because I didn't know who I was. Let's be honest and let's be real with each other. I didn't know who I was. I didn't know that I added value to people, let alone did I want to admit it, let alone did I want to show you or people in general that I had that level of confidence. I feel like those of us who've had great things inside of us have been asked to shrink to make other people feel more confident. And I feel like I've been doing that for a long time. I lived in a place where it was like, oh, I feel so big. But it was like I had to make myself diet me so people could, ingest me, so people could take me, right? So people could understand me and I wouldn't fear being misunderstood. But when God has called you to something great, when you are called to something great, when you are a founder of something, an author of something, you have your own podcast, whatever, and God has called you to do something great, you can't shrink. And if you shrink, you're losing your power. So my recent podcast episode I just did is called Anointed and Afraid, ? Because baby, it happens to the best of us, right? We know our gifts. We know we're meant for something special. We know what's inside of us. And we still just shrink. And you want to know what inspired me? I don't know if y'all follow B. Simone. I know some of y'all got a problem with her. But I follow her. And I haven't seen her post in a while, but she was rereading her old journals. And I do this. Like, I wish I could, you know what? I'm going to show y'all my journals whenever I vlog again. But I have buckets of journals, like literally. And I find that looking back at them, like, God has been telling me this for years. You go back and look and you're like, God has been telling me this for years and I didn't take the step or whatever, right? Rude. And it's so frustrating. Like, it's just like, I could have been here. I could have been there. And it's like, oh, wait, no. When God has been telling you something over and over again, what I've learned is that he's really building it in you so that you'll get to a point where you are not doubting. Like, you know that thing in faith. God wants to make sure that message is unshakable in you. And sometimes he has to revisit a thing over a few years. It takes some time. You've been through some things, right? Some parts of your heart is hardened. And so there comes a time where he is literally softening you so that you can understand a thing and then nothing can shake you from it. And so don't feel hard on yourself if you have had journals and you've gone back and you're like, God been telling me this. I could have been further than this. Like, no, God knew the process. He knew what it would take for you to hear what he's saying. I don't know what it was about podcasts, but the minute I heard that, I just did it. And really, it was because I felt like I was hiding. Like, I felt like I could hide behind just audio. And then I felt called to Spotify did video podcasts. And then I was just like, whatever, no one's listening anyway. So I'll do it. And then here we are now, babe. Here I am now, 50,000 listens later. I was in the top 10% last January after my first year. I was on the US charts. Do you hear what I'm saying? I was on the US charts because I was filming a podcast episode every single week when I had 3-4 listeners, and I found comfort in that. Because I was like, well, no one's listening anyway, so if I mess up, if I just say, whatever, if I say something wrong, what are they going to do? Call me personally? They don't have my number? I felt so much solace in the fact that no one was listening and that it was just something I could do every week to still be operating in my gifts and feel good about it. But the girlies found me. Okay, the girlies found me. And I think why people are so drawn to me is because I'm so just myself. I'm very vulnerable. I'm a basement, a dweller through and through. Okay, so Tim has definitely motivated me in a way of putting myself out there and being vulnerable that I feel like people connect to. And I'm grateful. for the growth of it. And I just can't wait to see what God does with it. Like, I would love to do live shows. I would love to do like conferences and stuff. I would love to do that. I love coaching. So as God like tells me to do these things, I just do them. And then it opens your mind to more and more and more as to what he's doing with you. And I realized, like, girl, you were hiding. And this whole time God was like, gotcha. You thought no one was listening. So you were able to be yourself. And that's what I wanted you to be. And so you were being yourself, and that attracted people to you. And now a bunch of people are listening. So you got to stay consistent. So here we are. I'm grateful. I'm here. I'm being obedient. And yeah, I love where I am. Like I said, I'm doing a content day where we're just posting. And I found if you're a content creator in any capacity, Christian or not, just do it. I did 2 takes of one where I know I would normally do it 5 times and then like throw it away because I was like, oh, I'm going to keep doing this over and over because I don't like what I said there. And I'm just like, I'm a girly, okay? I mean, I do have a gift. I'm really good with words. And so what I consider bad, maybe someone else is like, oh, that was good, right? So like, I'm not going to sit here and lean on my own understanding, okay? I'm going to lean on the fact that God put something in me and he's like, put it out there, okay? So he'll take care of the rest. So I just did like 7 videos, like one shot. I was like, that's it. That's all. If you are running a business, you have to tell people about it. You have to tell people about things and then wonder why nobody comes or why nobody's showing up. People need to know you. Except the podcast. I can't even explain that. That was God duping me. Okay. What's that book by, what is her name? Yvonne Orji. What was her book? Whatever the title of that, that's how I feel. That's my season. It's like God set me up. It's on the lines of that. But that's how I feel. I feel like he set me up. He like, girl, go ahead and think that thing gonna be a little thing, right? But my first episode, go and listen to it, is really vulnerable, and I didn't edit it. And I tell you that in the podcast episode, and I'm being really vulnerable and saying like, hey, I'm not gonna edit this. I'm not gonna overthink this. I'm just posting it because I know that there's something in me that God wants out, and I'm just doing that. It's the season of full obedience. So I just did my little content day. Okay, 2025 is a new year, new me for real this time. I feel like it's the first time I'm like, oh, I'm a different girl. Like I speak, right? My words have power. When I was a kid, so you know I'm a PK, I was prophesied over that I would like be on stages and talking, and I'm like, oh, sounds great. And I always thought that was like acting. But I realized my voice, just the power that God has given me, or the gift that God has given me, is in my voice. So whether I do it through that medium or through podcasting or through writing my books, here we are, right? Like, so whatever God has placed in you, whatever way, he'll always direct your path to be straight. Never worry about if you're doing it the right way or the wrong way. Your gift is multidimensional. You know, you can go in different areas. And I'm just grateful to God that he sees me and that he knows me. And then he knows what will fulfill me. Because I feel like I was missing that piece. Like, does God know what will make me happy? Will I be happy doing this? Like, I always thought God was going to call me to be a missionary in some desolate land if I fully surrendered to him. But like, really, he has a plan that like I would love to. And that took me a while to know. We're doing a vision board party this month, January 25th, and I can't wait. Because I love when we come together and talk about our visions and plans, and then we cover them in prayer so that we can hold each other accountable and also give them to God so that he can do what he wants to do with them. I'm grateful for that, and I'm ready for that. We are going to do that on the 25th of January, I believe. And then book club is meeting next February. We just promoted our facilitator, Tamar, who has been a member since the beginning. And she's just a beautiful person. She's such a light, and she's stepping into her gift. And I'm just so grateful for that. Yeah, I'm so grateful that she's going to be able to rise up and do what God has called her to. And mind you, she's been spoken into by all of us for years, and now it's like you get into the position where you're ready to lead. So that's what community does for you. Community speaks life into you. It holds you accountable, so you can't fall behind the wayside. You can't say, I'm setting this goal and nobody's there holding you accountable. You say, I'm setting this goal, and then you move forward and you do it. And we do that for each other. So if you have a big idea, if you have a business, if God has told you to do something, give yourself grace. I feel like that's what I'm saying in this episode here. Give yourself grace and allow God to move in it. Just be obedient. If you know what your gift is, use it in any capacity you can. Start there and keep moving. And if God has had to tell you something multiple times, that's okay. It's okay. It's okay. He knew he had to get it in you so that you could be to this point where you're confident in it, like your girl. Okay. Yeah, I've been hiding. Like, I can see that this year so much. Like, I've been hiding. It's like I started it, I did it, but I was also like, I don't want to tell people about it though. Like, I'm doing this, I love it, it's my thing, I'm good at it, but I don't want to tell people. And then I started getting all these comments from girls and like testimonies, and I'm like, all right, fine. And it's actually like a disservice to people by not putting yourself out there if what you're doing is helping people. And that's where my heart has always been, to help and serve. And now that I'm the closest to God I've ever been, obviously I want to serve him, and to serve him is serving his people. So I'm doing a disservice by not being like, hey, I have a podcast that helps women heal and be seen and grow. Like, hey, will you listen? Like, nope, I'm not that girly anymore. Like, I have a podcast and it helps women heal, and I'm very proud of it. And I'm gone through the ringer to become the girl who's gone through her healing journey and is actively going through her healing journey, and is open enough and vulnerable enough and confident enough to share the way I share. So this is the fruit of the process, right? So I'm just grateful that God saw fit that I could be the one to do it. And here we are. So I'm no longer hiding. We are not hiding anymore. Okay, we are in the open. We're in the open. So yeah, I'm just grateful for this season that I'm in, and I pray that this inspired or motivated or gave you something, girly, to work with for this month. But yeah, vision board party, book club, all this stuff is linked below, so you can click there. We do prayer call every Wednesday morning. We do a monthly prayer call every first Monday of the month, and Bible study is always every Thursday with your girl. Okay, so get what you need. These are all public things you can do. However, we do have member-only events, and our member site has self-guided courses by me. It has self-guided courses by Tab, our other coach, who is faith-based as well. We also do group coachings here and there every month. I'm going to do one for anyone who has had on their heart to write a book or start a podcast specifically, or start a business, how to own your story and sort of get it out there. How to get that confidence. So I'm going to do a group coaching on that. That will be 35 ahead in February. Okay. So I will see you there if you need that type of inspiration, motivation, and mindset shifting. I gotcha. We are doing that. That's who we are now. We're helping people heal and grow. That's what I'm here to do. And I'm grateful that I can. So I hope to see you then. I am going to be vlogging more often, obviously, like this now. And thank you. We have 50,000 listeners on my podcast. Like, I forgot to say that. We have 50,000 listeners. Girly, there was two. 200 last year here and there, 300 here and there last year. And then all of a sudden I was in the top 10. And then that whole year that I let pass, like, I was just like struggling. I was like, Lord, isn't this supposed to be easier? But then this year we got to 50,000. So that's my time. We're here. We made it. So yeah, I would love to coach you one-on-one or group coach you, whatever. If you are ready to get past that barrier that keeps you from putting yourself out there, let me help you. Let your sis help you, because God has put something in me that has allowed me to do that for other women. So yeah, I will be vlogging more. I hope this is helpful. I love you to death, and follow me on Instagram, because I don't know what TikTok is doing, but Her Promise Circle on TikTok and Mikkel.Renee on Instagram. I love you.